In the east wing where Lillian once hid her pain, Adam built a new room, called the Sterling Library. He displayed her old books, diaries, and unsent letters. At the entrance he carved a plaque. Love doesn't always come in the form we expect. But when it does, it gives meaning to all that came before. The house became a charitable and cultural center. Adam and Clara, with their daughter Lillian, were a family. One day in the garden, Clara felt their baby's first kick. "Put your hand here," she said. As Adam touched her belly, a tenderness he'd never known filled his heart. "What will we name her?" Clara asked. "Lillian," Adam said, smiling. "It's beautiful." Adam started a foundation, offering scholarships to domestic workers. One day, in the Sterling Library, he found an old diary of Lillian's. It read, "I was a queen, but my heart was a desert. Through Adam's trial, I was reborn. Hate is the greatest gift we can give." Their daughter was born. Birds, songs, and the baby's laughter brought new life to the house. After morning prayer, Adam would take little Lillian to the garden, teaching her to pray and telling her about the stars. Years passed. Lily became a doctor. At her graduation, she said, "This victory isn't mine alone. It's my mother's prayers, my brother's sacrifice, and the boundless heart of a woman who brought me here." As Clara held his hand, Adam's eyes filled with tears. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. A plaque was placed at the house's entrance. Bennett House, a home of forgiveness, love, and second chances. During Ramadan, they hosted iftar dinners. On Eid al-Adha, they distributed meat to hundreds of families. The library was open to all. Clara wrote books for children, the first titled Behind the Locked Door. One day, young Lillian, now a woman, asked her father in the library, "Dad, what's behind this door?" Adam smiled. "The heart of the past beats here. But now, my daughter, we open the doors to the future." They walked into the room together. On the table, next to Lillian Sterling's old diary, sat Clara's new one. Past and future stood side by side. Years later, Lillian, now a young woman, returned from her studies with a red folder. "Mom," she said, "I wrote Dad's story. It's not a biography, it's about forgiveness, change, and second chances." Clara opened the file. Every line held Adam, but also Lillian Sterling, Clara, and David Bennett. "What will you do with it?" Clara asked. In the bustling city of Riverwood lived a young man named Adam Bennett. He was only 20 years old, yet the weight of life made him feel much older. His mother, Eleanor, was in the final stages of cancer. His 17-year-old sister, Lily, a high school student, dreamed of becoming a doctor. 3 years ago, their father died in an accident, leaving Adam as the sole provider for the family. Adam's days were a monotonous routine. By day, he worked at a shop. By night, he drove for a ride-sharing service. In between, he tried to attend online college classes. Sleep was a luxury he couldn't afford. His face was pale, his hands trembled, and he constantly counted the few dollars left in his pocket. His mother's medications were expensive, and Lily's school fees were overdue. Creditors hounded him relentlessly. Life had become a golden cage for Adam, its bars forged from his debts. One gloomy afternoon, Adam stepped into a small coffee shop. As he fumbled for coins, he felt someone staring at him. Looking up, he saw an elderly woman dressed in expensive clothing, a beautiful brooch gleaming on her chest. Her deep eyes seemed to peer into his soul, as if reading his secrets. "Are you Adam Bennett?" she asked in a calm voice. Startled, Adam replied, "Yes, do I know you?" "I'm Lillian Sterling," she said, "a businesswoman. I know about your life, your mother's illness, your sister's dreams, your struggles. I can change everything." Adam's face filled with disbelief. "What do you mean?" Lillian gave a faint smile. "Marry me." Thinking it was a joke, Adam laughed. Lillian looked to be in her late 70s, yet she exuded vitality. Her presence was both strange and captivating. She continued, "I'm not joking. Marry me, and I'll pay off your debts. Your mother will get the best treatment. I'll cover Lily's medical school fees. Your night shifts, your worries, they'll all end. One condition, you follow my terms." Adam's head spun. "This is insane. Why me?" Lillian's eyes gleamed. "I once had nothing. Now I have everything, but I'm alone. Think about it, Adam. You don't have to love me. I won't interfere with your freedom. You'll have your own room, your own life." When Adam left the coffee shop, his mind was in turmoil. Lillian's words echoed in his head, a bizarre mix of madness and salvation. The next few days were filled with pain and stress. His mother's condition worsened, and he faced the heartbreaking prospect of telling Lily she might have to drop out of school. One evening, as the sun set over Riverwood, Adam stood before Lillian Sterling's grand mansion. He took a deep breath. "I agree," he whispered, more a surrender than a decision. Within a week, all legal formalities were completed. In a simple ceremony, with a few witnesses, it was official. Adam Bennett was now the husband of Lillian Sterling, one of the wealthiest women in the region. Lillian's house was a world of dreams: crystal chandeliers, Persian rugs, and a grand staircase with golden railings. Yet, amidst this luxury, Adam felt an eerie emptiness. The house was cloaked in a strange silence. The staff moved like shadows, respectful toward Lillian, but something seemed hidden beneath their deference. On the second floor, a large door was always locked, guarded, and never spoken of. Adam was given his own room, new clothes, and anything he needed, yet an invisible wall separated him from Lillian. They dined together each night, and she asked about his day, but their relationship never grew beyond a polite friendship. She remained calm, yet distant. The locked door haunted Adam. Every time he passed it, it seemed to whisper a secret. One night he touched the cold brass handle. A guard appeared instantly. "Sir, that area is restricted." "Why?" Adam asked. There was no answer. In the distance, as the call to morning prayer echoed, Adam heard voices from behind the door. A woman's voice. Lillian's. His heart raced. Who was Lillian, really? What was behind that door? Had his marriage, which saved his family, led him to a place with secrets he was never meant to uncover? That night, after hearing the voices, Adam couldn't sleep. The luxurious bed felt like a bed of thorns. True to her word, Lillian ensured his mother's health improved with the care of a renowned oncologist. Lily's school fees were paid, and Adam's family was grateful for the miracle. But his heart found no peace. Lillian remained gentle, calm, and solitary. She didn't pray with others and spent time alone in a room near the locked door. When Adam asked the staff, they gave the same response. "It's a private place, sir. No one is allowed without Madam's permission." Adam felt like a prince in a golden cage. He had everything, but the most important thing, truth, eluded him. One evening, while reading an old book in the courtyard, Clara, Lillian's personal assistant, approached him. Clara was the only person in the house with whom Adam could speak openly. "Are you all right, sir?" she asked softly. "Clara, please tell me the truth. What's in that locked room?" Clara's face paled. "I don't know, sir." "It's in your eyes, you know," Adam said gently. Clara hesitated, then whispered, "Please don't ask. I could lose everything." Adam didn't press her, but her words fueled his curiosity. That night he saw Clara in the kitchen. "If Lillian agrees to see me alone, will you let me know?" he asked. Clara hesitated, then nodded. "If she agrees, I'll come." 2 nights later, at midnight, when silence enveloped the grand house, Clara appeared outside Adam's room. "She's alone in her room. She wants to see you." Adam's heart pounded. He splashed water on his face, dressed simply, and walked through the dimly lit halls. Old family portraits on the wall seemed to watch him. He knocked on Lillian's door. "Come in," a calm voice replied. The room was unlike the others. Long rose bushes, draped windows, a serene atmosphere. Lillian sat in the center, her beauty defying her age. "I didn't think you'd come," she said. "I had to. There's so much I don't understand," Adam said softly. Lillian stood slowly and handed him an old photo. It showed a man in 1980s clothing standing with her, bearing a striking resemblance to Adam. "This is your father, David Bennett," she said, her voice trembling. "I met him long before he married your mother. He was my first love. After my husband died, David showed me kindness. I mistook it for love. When I asked him to marry me, he laughed, saying I was just a rich woman's joke." Lillian turned away, her voice hardening. "That rejection, that humiliation, it broke me. I hid that pain. Then I saw you, Adam. You're his mirror image." Adam stood. "So this marriage was revenge?" Lillian looked into his eyes. "At first, yes. I wanted to hurt the son of the man who hurt me. But you're not him, Adam. You gave me respect I didn't deserve, kindness I never expected." Her eyes filled with tears. I fell in love with you. Adam was stunned. This is madness. Lillian stepped closer, placing a hand on her chest. The heart has no logic, Adam. It knows no pain. A long, intense silence followed. What's behind that door? Adam finally asked. Lillian took a deep breath. The truth. I believe you're ready to know. She handed him a brass key. Come tomorrow night, after everyone's asleep. No questions, no blame, bring only your heart. That night, Adam didn't sleep. The revelation about his father shattered his world. Lillian, this house, this marriage, were they all part of a hidden story? Yet, the pain in Lillian's eyes was real. He clutched the key, knowing it unlocked more than a door, perhaps a truth that could break or heal him. The next night, as silence settled over the house, Adam stood before the forbidden door. In the darkness, only the ticking of an old clock could be heard. He turned the key, and with a click, the door opened. A cold breeze brushed past him. The room was a treasure trove of memories. Soft golden light illuminated a dusty atmosphere. In one corner stood a wooden cabinet, a chair before it. On the floor lay an old prayer mat. On a table sat a leather file filled with dozens of photos, Lillian's youth, her travels, her laughter. In some, David Bennett held her hand. Beneath the photos were handwritten letters, 30 years old. Adam opened one. My dearest David, it read. I waited at the railway station again. Why didn't you come? You said you loved me. Was it all a lie? I gave up everything for you. The letter slipped from Adam's hand. A voice came from behind. I wrote to him every week. Adam turned. Lillian stood at the door, dressed simply. He never replied. Why keep this room locked? Adam asked. It's my unhealed wound, Lillian replied. I didn't want anyone to see it. Then why marry me? Why this trap? Lillian stepped closer. At first to punish your father's son. But you're not him, Adam. You taught me how to love again. Adam felt a surge of emotions. This isn't love, Lillian. It's deception, guilt, a game. It's love now, Lillian said calmly. I don't want to control you. I just want to see you. Adam's attention shifted to the cabinet. Among the letters was a legal document, a will, written a month ago, leaving all her wealth to him. You're giving me everything? He asked. Yes, Lillian said. I trust you. You gave me something I lost, hope. Adam's eyes filled with tears. He didn't know whether to be angry, sad, or both. I don't know what to do with this, he whispered. Stay with me tonight. That's enough, Lillian said. They talked for hours, not as husband and wife, but as two wounded souls. By the time morning prayer began, a strange peace had settled between them. But fate had another story to tell. Weeks later, Lillian fell ill. Doctors called it a heart attack, a result of old age. Adam sat by her bedside, reading to her. In her final moments, she whispered, You made me young again, if only for a moment. Thank you. She smiled, then closed her eyes. At Lillian's funeral, people praised her philanthropy. But only Adam knew the full story. After the ceremony, he whispered, I forgive you, Lillian. I hope you forgive me. The story didn't end there. In the shadows of the house stood Clara, who had served Lillian faithfully for years. Her eyes held no greed, only deep affection. Slowly, a new story began. Months passed. The house, once filled with Lillian's silent footsteps, now glowed with new life. The strange silence and secrets faded, replaced by sunlight, music, and laughter. Adam had changed. He now owned the house, real estate, and over 6 companies, but he didn't revel in the wealth. He used it to care for his mother, secure Lily's future, and transform the house into a symbol of love. Clara gradually found a place in his life. She was always there, quietly supportive. One day, Adam saw her watering a jasmine plant in the old garden. You really love this place, don't you? He asked. Clara smiled. It's the only home I've ever known. You were never afraid of Lillian, Adam recalled, even when everyone else was in awe of her. She gave me a home, Clara said softly, but you brought peace to this place. Her words lingered in Adam's mind. He began talking to her more. She was an orphan, raised in this house, with dreams of becoming a teacher. Adam decided to help her without conditions. Seasons changed. Spring returned to Riverwood. One night after prayer, As they walked under the moonlight, Adam spoke. "You've always been there for me, asking for nothing. I want you to be part of my life. Would that make you happy?" Clara's eyes widened. "Your happiness is all I've ever wanted. I feel like I've come home with you." They held a simple wedding, attended only by family and friends. They offered a silent prayer for Lillian's soul. Adam once thought his marriage to Lillian was a curse, a loveless contract. But now he understood that sometimes God leads us to the right destination through strange paths. Clara became pregnant, and they had a daughter whom they named Lillian. The house, once a symbol of pain, became a sanctuary of love and laughter. Adam's mother, Eleanor, sat peacefully in the courtyard. Lily was now a third-year medical student, visiting home on weekends. In the east wing where Lillian once hid her pain, Adam built a new room called the Sterling Library. He displayed her old books, diaries, and unsent letters. At the entrance, he carved a plaque. Love doesn't always come in the form we expect, but when it does, it gives meaning to all that came before. The house became a charitable and cultural center. Adam and Clara, with their daughter Lillian, were a family. One day in the garden, Clara felt their baby's first kick. "Put your hand here," she said. As Adam touched her belly, a tenderness he'd never known filled his heart. "What will we name her?" Clara asked. "Lillian," Adam said, smiling. "It's beautiful." Adam started a foundation, offering scholarships to domestic workers. One day in the Sterling Library, he found an old diary of Lillian's. It read, "I was a queen, but my heart was a desert. Through Adam's trial, I was reborn. Hate is the greatest gift we can give." Their daughter was born. Birds, songs, and the baby's laughter brought new life to the house. After morning prayer, Adam would take little Lillian to the garden, teaching her to pray and telling her about the stars. Years passed. Lily became a doctor. At her graduation, she said, "This victory isn't mine alone. It's my mother's prayers, my brother's sacrifice, and the boundless heart of a woman who brought me here." As Clara held his hand, Adam's eyes filled with tears. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. A plaque was placed at the house's entrance, Bennett House, a home of forgiveness, love, and second chances. During Ramadan, they hosted iftar dinners. On Eid al-Adha, they distributed meat to hundreds of families. The library was open to all. Clara wrote books for children, the first titled Behind the Locked Door. One day, young Lillian, now a woman, asked her father in the library, "Dad, what's behind this door?" Adam smiled. "The heart of the past beats here. But now, my daughter, we open the doors to the future." They walked into the room together. On the table, next to Lillian Sterling's old diary, sat Clara's new one. Past and future stood side by side. Years later, Lillian, now a young woman, returned from her studies with a red folder. "Mom," she said, "I wrote Dad's story. It's not a biography. It's about forgiveness, change, and second chances." Clara opened the file. Every line held Adam, but also Lillian Sterling, Clara, and David Bennett. "What will you do with it?" Clara asked. "Publish it," Lillian said. "Dad was silent, but I'll make his voice heard." The story of Bennett House was read worldwide. A year later, an international seminar was held at Bennett House. People came from Jerusalem, Andalusia, Bosnia, Pakistan, and Detroit. On stage, Lillian said, "I was born in a story. I heard my father's silence and my mother's pain in these walls. Every locked door can be opened with forgiveness." Time moved forward. Adam and Clara grew old together. One day, a young woman from Jerusalem met Lillian and visited Bennett House. "Your life should be a book," she said. "The world hears only bad news now. Your story is about kindness and pain." Adam laughed. "My life is a book," he said, "written with tears."